I'm 72 years old, and if I could go back and tell my younger self one thing, it would change everything. What I'm about to share took me half a century to learn. Please don't make my mistakes. There's something nobody tells you about getting older. The things you thought mattered don't, and the things you ignored become everything. I learned this the hardest way possible, but you don't have to. 72 years go by faster than you think. I wasted 30 of them chasing the wrong things. If you're watching this, you still have time, but only if you listen to what I'm about to tell you. Every single person I've known who lived past 70 says the same thing. We all wish we'd understood this sooner. Today, I'm breaking the silence. This is what really matters, and nobody talks about it. Stop scrolling. I mean it. What I'm about to share will either change your perspective forever, or you'll ignore it and regret it decades from now. Your choice. But give me 15 minutes. My name is Margaret. I'm 72 years old, and I've spent the last year thinking about what wisdom actually means. Not the kind you read in greeting cards, but the real lessons that only come from living. I grew up in Manchester in the 1950s. Life was simpler then, or maybe we just didn't have as many choices. My parents had clear expectations. Finish school, find decent work, marry well, raise children. The path seemed obvious, like following a map someone else had drawn. But I was curious even then, always asking questions that made adults uncomfortable. My family attended church every Sunday without question. I sat in those pews memorizing verses, singing hymns, listening to sermons about certainty and faith. But here's what nobody tells you when you're young. Life doesn't follow anyone's map. It throws you challenges that don't have answers in the back of the book. I was 28 when my brother died. He was only 31, healthy, vibrant, full of plans. And then one day, he simply wasn't here anymore. That loss cracked something open in me. All the neat explanations I've been given about how life works suddenly felt hollow. I remember sitting in my kitchen, staring at his empty chair, angry at the universe, angry at fate, angry at myself for not having better answers. That's when I started really searching. Not for comfort, but for truth. I read philosophy from ancient Greece, poetry from Rumi, teachings from the Buddha, wisdom from indigenous cultures. I talked to priests, imams, rabbis, and people who believe in nothing at all. And here's what shocked me. Underneath all the different languages, rituals, and traditions, I found the same core truths appearing again and again. Compassion, humility, service to others, recognizing that we're all connected. These weren't Christian ideas or Buddhist ideas or secular humanist ideas. They were human ideas. They appeared everywhere because they're written into what we are. I met a woman from Pakistan who became my closest friend. Her prayers looked different than mine. Her holy days fell on different calendar dates. But when she talked about seeking peace, about struggling with doubt, about wanting to live with purpose, I recognized myself completely. Now, I'm not going to tell you that all beliefs are identical or that differences don't matter. That would be dishonest, and you deserve better than easy answers. The differences do matter. They represent distinct ways of understanding mystery, different cultural lenses for viewing the sacred. A Jewish Sabbath is not the same as a Muslim Friday prayer. Buddhist meditation is not identical to Christian contemplation. These distinctions carry meaning and deserve respect. But I've also watched people use those differences as weapons. I've seen parents disown children over who they love. I've witnessed communities fractured over doctrinal disputes. And every time, it breaks something in me. When I was 53, I went through the darkest period of my life. My marriage was falling apart. My career felt meaningless. I was drinking wine every night just to sleep. One night, I found myself sitting on my bathroom floor at 3 in the morning, and I did something I hadn't done in years. I spoke out loud to whatever might be listening. I didn't use formal language or recite memorized words. I said, I don't know if anyone hears this. I don't know what I believe anymore. But I cannot carry this alone. If there's any love in the universe, I need to feel it now. The next morning, my neighbor Emma knocked on my door. We'd only exchanged pleasantries before. She asked if I wanted to take a walk. We ended up walking for 2 hours. She shared her own story of depression, of recovery, of finding support. She gave me the number for a therapist. She invited me to a support group. Was that divine intervention? Was it coincidence? Was it simply human kindness recognizing itself? I've stopped trying to draw hard lines between those categories. I got help. I healed. Something held me when I couldn't hold myself. The older I get, the less certain I become about the specifics. And paradoxically, the more peaceful I feel. I don't know what happens after we die. I don't know if consciousness continues or if this life is all there is. I don't know which prayers reach which ears. And I've made peace with not knowing. Because what I do know, what 72 years has taught me beyond doubt, is this: the mystery is vast. It's bigger than any book. It's deeper than any tradition. And the appropriate response to such mystery isn't certainty. It's wonder. I watch younger generations walking away from organized religion, and I understand completely. They've seen the hypocrisy. They've experienced the judgment. You don't owe loyalty to institutions that have harmed you. You're not required to accept teachings that contradict your conscience. You have every right to walk away from spaces that diminish your humanity. But here's what I hope you won't abandon: the search for meaning itself. The big questions about purpose, connection, love, and how to live well. These questions aren't religious programming. They're human inheritance. I still attend church most Sundays. Not because I think it makes me superior. Not because I believe attendance is required. I go because something happens when humans gather with intention. But I also meditate using techniques I learned from Buddhist practitioners. I read Sufi poetry before sleeping. I study ethical philosophy from thinkers who don't believe in any deity. And here's what this tapestry of practice has taught me. The goal isn't collecting the right answers. The goal is remaining open, staying curious, recognizing that every person carries a fragment of truth. My husband died 2 years ago. We were married for 47 years. In his final days, he asked me, "Do you think there's anything after this?" And I looked at him, this man I'd loved for more than half my life, and I said, "I don't know, but I hope so. And if there's any justice in the universe, any love at the heart of existence, then I have to believe yes." Was that faith? Was that hope? Was that denial? Maybe the distinction doesn't matter as much as we think. What mattered was being honest with him. What mattered was holding his hand. What mattered was love. What I've learned is that the most important thing isn't what you believe. It's how you treat people because of what you believe. If your faith makes you more loving, more compassionate, more humble, more willing to serve others, then it's doing what faith is supposed to do. If it makes you judgmental, cruel, or afraid, then something's gone wrong. And that's true whether you're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, or none of the above. The label matters less than the life you live. I'm 72 years old. I've got maybe another 10 or 15 years if I'm fortunate. And I'm still figuring it out. I'm still asking questions. I'm still being surprised by where I find truth and beauty and meaning. And I wouldn't have it any other way. The journey isn't over. The questions aren't answered. And that's exactly as it should be. So whether you're deeply religious or whether you think all of this is nonsense, whether you're somewhere in between or still figuring it out, I want you to know this: your questions are valid. Your doubts are not weakness. Your search for meaning is one of the most human things about you. Don't let anyone take that away. Don't let anyone tell you they have all the answers when the mystery is so much bigger. Stay curious. Stay humble. Love people. Help people. Be kind. And keep asking the big questions, because those questions are what make us human. They connect us to every human who has ever lived and wondered and searched. Thank you for spending this time with me. If something I've shared resonated with you, I hope you'll subscribe. Maybe my story or someone else's story here will help you on your own journey. And if you have wisdom to share, if you've lived and learned and want to help others, please consider sharing your story. The world needs your voice too. Keep searching. Keep questioning. Keep being kind. And remember, the questions matter more than the answers. See you again soon.